Hey everybody, hope you're doing great. We're continuing our reading of Matharat al Qulub. It has been fantastic. Let's continue. We were dealing with envy, remember? Okay, so we'll continue. This is... No. We were on about the point of communism and sacred law. Here we are. An obligation of the poor is not to envy the rich and harbor resentment towards them. And the rich are obligated to not belittle the indignant, grow arrogant, hoard wealth, or to work to keep others in need. Work to keep others in need. Not so if you're purposely targeting them to keep them enslaved, to keep them impoverished, you are not acting in accordance with your expected behavior with your wealth. So rich shouldn't treat the poor like crap, and the poor shouldn't envy and storm the castle of the rich to take their stuff. So, yeah. The Imam says that one way to uproot envy is to realize with solemn reflection that envy can never befit its agent. Okay, solemn reflection, envy can never benefit you. So envy will never benefit you. It cannot be a positive agent, he contends. And if we really think about that in a deeper sense, we can say, don't confuse envy with competition, with healthy competitive spirit, right? One should also realize that what people attain in terms of material wealth or prestige is from God. Okay, so that is also something very important. So if they're given wealth, we have to say to ourselves, right, like, Allah gave it to them. There's a reason for it. I may not understand it. I may not like that person. It's been given to them. It's a test thereof. I have my lot. This is my test. I'm being tested in my lot. Stop looking over the fence. He is all-knowing and all-wise. He knows best how to distribute his blessings and to whom, while we do not possess such knowledge. So, I know an atheist would shoot back and say, oh, that's the God works in mysterious ways argument. How convenient. But it is a point that we have to look at from both angles, right? The basis of the remedy for envy is taqwa, which is having a sense of awe of God, an active awareness of Him as the ultimate power over all creation. Okay, so I get the sense of taqwa. I think that's I try to think of sublime, but taqwa is like above sublime, right? It's sublime is a word that we use to be like, in a philosophical sense, to be this overwhelming awe, like Niagara Falls. And I know you cannot, nothing is comparable to him. I know of that. But I'm saying in my brain, like, to identify the feeling of awe, like, some people can relate to that type of feeling. But this, the contending, is taqwa, is even deeper than that, right? So, if we can imagine getting overwhelmed by nature, in a sense of the philosophical sublime, we also can contemplate on taqwa and how that would feel. And I've had that panic sometimes. And you know what? It's scary when it happens, but sometimes it feels really good afterwards. Like, oh, I'm glad I got that because it recentered me. Because that fear, like awareness too, is like, you know? You gotta be good. You gotta do good things. You gotta be right. This diffuses false notions of misappropriated blessings. Okay, so taqwa diffuses false notions of misappropriated blessings, he contends. Hamza Yusuf. A hadith states, if you envy, do not wrong others. If one does not work to remove another person's blessings, then his or her envy is in check, and is not the kind that necessarily devours one's good deeds. Okay. Don't work to remove their benefit. Okay. Envy that devours righteous deeds is envy that impels someone to wrong others. Okay, so Machiavellian energy then. right? Peter Baelish vibe. I understand. Imam al-Ghazali makes a distinction between various strains of envy. He states that if one hates envy and is ashamed that he or she harbors it, the person is not essentially an envious person. Okay, so if you state you hate envy and you're ashamed that you have it, that's not necessarily making you by definition an envious person. Okay. So the intent. It is important to be aware of the feelings that reside in one's heart. This self-awareness is essential for the purpose of purification. Aha, yeah, so know thyself. The classic thing we all can relate to. All of us have heard that. Yet, do we try? That's the thing. Okay, now we're in a new part, alright? It's titled Poem verses 63 through 66. Its ideology includes animosity, vying for the love of others, arrogance, poor self-worth, vanity, love of leadership, and avarice, cupidity for things. These 7 causes engender envy. As for a blessing that a disbeliever or corrupt Muslim has that enables one to harm others or show aggression because of it, then the malady of second wives is in such instances permissible. Yeah. Wait. Vying for the love of others. You know what? A lot of women do that at work for the bosses. A lot of women do that who don't have a partner of their own. This vying, yeah, like it's that word has a lot of power in it. If you've ever had to like really use it, it's kind of like predatorial. Animosity is like really tense, like energy. Arrogance, we know that. Vanity. Vanity, we all have seen it. We all have. Okay, now, this is titled Ideology. The Imam now delves into the etiology of the disease, for without discovering the causes of envy, it would be difficult to excise it. The first cause he mentions is enmity, adawa. Wow, so the word in Arabic for enmity is adawa. Harboring feelings of animosity towards another makes one highly susceptible to developing envy. So, animosity leading to envy. So, animosity leads into envy. Another cause of envy is vying for another's affection or love. Oh, so if you have like multiple wives and you're not treating them equally and doing them justice, they'll begin to vie. So doing right by them, you gotta make sure that you prevent envying and vying within your home. And you have to be able to share your love and not play favorites. Maybe that's why it's so difficult some just choose one, right? Interesting. Which can become vicious, and its effect can linger in a person for a very long time, which is often the case when siblings compete for parental love. Oh boy, yeah. Vying, I wouldn't say I vied from, whoa. I was mean to my sister when she was little. I apologize to her. But yeah, I protected her from bullies as well, but I was a little rough up on her, gave her the ropes. You gotta prepare your younger sibling for the rough neighborhood, but I could have been nicer. But I did get jealous when my grandma would take her out to eat. Like, she'd get a Happy Meal from McDonald's and then they wouldn't bring me anything back. Like, I got mad over things like that, or they would go to 7-Eleven or the gas station and they wouldn't bring me chips or soda back, but she would have one and they would be like laughing when they came back, and I would be there taking care of the dogs and waiting. So he has a point. Yeah, That's why the story of Joseph is important, right? Because you have to pay attention to that. You have to make sure you love your children equally and do really well. I keep that in mind. That's why one day, if I ever have more children, I'm really going to work on that and explain, right? Don't get jealous. This is like a baby needs more attention. Don't get jealous, right?